All right. Welcome, Gabriel DiCristofaro, to the Mantra Dad podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, it's good to be here, man. Good to be here, brother.
It's been so long since we've connected. I love your face. I love everything we've gone through in our various years of self development work and spiritual progress as enlightened men and working. Yeah, I know it's kind of funny to even refer to us as enlightened, but hey, we're on the path. Don't you agree?
We are on the path. I think I can agree with that.
Nice. So, where are you joining me from today?
I'm out in Playa Coronado in Panama, the south side of Panama. Panama is a little like an S, and we're on the underside. So we've been
Luck.
here a month, and we're going to be here another 90 days.
Wow, lucky you. How
Yes,
exciting.
yes. It's good,
So,
man. Good people, good vibes.
how have you been spending your time?
Yeah, well, we left Central Florida and we went to Hawaii at first, which is when you and I touched base. Went out there to try and get away from some of the COVID cases because in Florida they were getting pretty high. So we just, we didn't want to leave the country yet because COVID rules and regulations were still kind of questionable. So we went to Honolulu, which was quite expensive, of course. Beautiful snorkeling, unbelievable. But it really is like Miami on the beach. It's super intense, super loud, like it's a lot. And but it also had some of the best snorkeling we'd ever gone to in our lives, which was amazing. Then we went to the Big Island, Kailua Kona. That's where we stayed for 90 days. And really, man, it was almost like we were in lockdown with everybody else because our apartment we rented was like 20 minutes from the beach down a huge hill. And on any hill, I mean, like even Navy SEALs would pass out walking up these hills. They're hugely steep. So we didn't really go to the beach a lot. We just kind of stayed in our place, and it was.
Lockdown in paradise, huh?
That's it right there, lockdown in paradise. And then we moved over. We bounced and went to Costa Rica for a bit,
Hmm,
and then we came to our final current place, which is Panama, which we love.
nice. Well, it's
Yeah,
always
man.
good to feel a little settled after lots of traveling, lots of uncertainties,
Yeah.
lots of questions. So I'm happy
Yes,
that you
yes,
found
yes.
some grounding there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool. I want to touch base with you because I know you've been pretty deep in the self development world. But I was wondering. I don't think we've ever really touched on. Have you? Are you a spiritual person? Do you consider yourself spiritual?
I do
And
consider myself a spiritual person.
cool. And what does that mean for you? Like, do you have a practice, daily practice, or monthly practice?
Yeah, before we go to that, let's clarify spiritual,
Go ahead.
right? Because a lot of people mix religion and spirit, which they are in a similar bubble, but they are not the same bubble. So I just want to clarify that. So I have a background of a lot of religious affiliations. My mother was a nun. I went to some private schools, went to church every day, like a lot of that. So through all the years, I learned a lot of different religions, and I learned that the spirit is really an individual's experience of the universe. So that's what I look at it as. However you want to interpret that for yourself or whatever vessel you want to use, that's up to you. But that's on top of the spirit, right? The manly stuff we put on it is, and I don't mean men as in men, but just like man, women, whoever, we put a construct over the spirituality, but spirituality to itself is your relationship to the universe and the powers of the universe. So
Mm,
yeah, I definitely have daily practices. I mean, the spirit I feel feeds the mind, and the mind feeds the emotions, and the emotion feeds the body.
mm,
So if you go with
nice.
that. Yes, sir.
Cool. So, have you had a meditation practice, and how has that impacted your life?
Yes, sir. I have been meditating more formally now for I would say a lot more in the last year and a half.
Hmm.
Definitely more being in the COVID lockdown, right? Because you're kind of set, you have to be with your mind a lot. And, I get up and there's a new thing I started doing. I do it probably 5 days a week, which is I I go out and I do gratefuls. I'm sure you're familiar with those. A lot of people do them. I find them incredibly helpful, right? It fills the mind with what you're grateful for. It puts you in a humble state of mind, right? So that you are humble to what's around you that's being provided. And that's just a great place first. Next, I tend to do 3 reasons to succeed. So those would be awareness. Okay, I'm aware of people. I'm aware of things. Two, I pay attention to time. Okay, I pay attention to time. Um, Three, I have great friendships that are part of that. So and that's about 5 days a week. I don't do it every day. Mostly I do, but usually it's at least five. And the combination of gratefuls and then acknowledging who my being is that can be successful puts me in a good frame of mind to go into the day.
Nice. So seems to be very simple yet very profound.
Seems that's what I've seen other people do that's successful as well, is simple.
Mm,
Because if it's complex and you're tired or you're busy or there's kids or there's A, X, Z, then it gets pushed aside. If
hmm.
it's simple enough to just do it, takes a couple minutes to get your spirit connected or disconnected, depending on what you're attempting to do. Yeah, keep it simple, keep it clean. And really it to me, the few minutes it takes, it kind of sets whatever you're going to do next in motion anyway.
I agree. Yeah, it's good to get some good fresh momentum powered up in the day, huh?
Yeah,
Just
what do you do?
get
What do
you
you do
get
in
you
your
going through it.
mornings?
So I keep it real simple as well. I will do about 20 minutes of meditation, silent meditation, and I find that that really sets me up, sharpens my mind to the point where the clutter is gone. And I like to do it when I first wake up because that's where there's less cobwebs, I guess, in my life and my
Mhm.
day, and so that's been a pretty routine for me for many years now. And also I'll do some mantras. So I'll do some prosperity mantras,
Mm,
simple fun things that are. I teach this to a lot of friends over the years, but it's a Kundalini yoga
mm,
mantra as taught
mm,
by Yogi Bhajan,
mm.
and so I usually tune in so I can demonstrate that for you real quick if you haven't tuned in or heard anybody tuning in before. Basically, is a mantra called the Adi mantra, and it goes Om Namo Gurudev Namo. So I'll chant that 3 times and kind of tune in with that. And when I say tune in, tuning into myself, tuning into my higher self, tuning into the teachers all around us, inside of
Mm,
us, and through all time, the masters
mm,
essentially.
mm,
Um, so that kind of gets me going, and I feel noticeably different when I tune in. Normally, when I do any kind of Kundalini yoga practice, normally I do that, and that's
mm,
kind of requested and part of the recipe for Kundalini yoga. And then the mantras I do usually, the thing with mantras, it's this is the Mantra Dad podcast, so I would like to talk about that a little bit, anyways. And the mantra is that which delivers the mind or that which shapes the mind. So
mm,
you're doing a mantra so that you are connecting with the divinity that is contained in that word, and but it's beyond words. So these mantras, especially the Har Mantra, which is the prosperity one that I'll demonstrate to you here shortly. That the root is Har, which is seed. So the Hari Krishnas, the Har, and the reason you do Had is because the your tongue touches the roof of your mouth. Had, 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 and when you do that over and over again, it stimulates your pituitary gland in your brain. So there's actually a physical response here in the brain. It's not just
mm,
this woo woo stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that does, it's called the prosperity mantra, and you also do a mudra. So it's a combination of mantra and mudra, and the reason for all of this is to really keep you focused and engaged, and to clear
Mm-hmm.
your mind, right? So the mudra is you take your hands and you kind of tap them together. So you do had, and then you turn them over, and you do had again. So I usually do that for about 11 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, had, had. I close my eyes. Had, had, had. And there's music that goes along with it as well. Keep you kind of on time and everything. And I find that when I do that, sets my day up pretty well. And normally I have an intention kind of that is in my mind at the time. And so I've just started a little side project here, which is renting cars here on the island because the rental car situation is insane right now. And we're just trying to help out the tourists. But basically, I'll keep in my mind, hey, I'm open to a booking or several bookings, and normally it happens. So it's pretty cool. So I've been doing this for years, essentially, with Denise, my wife, and the things that we've gone on to manifest using this and other meditations. This one specifically, it's it's insane what can happen with a simple mantra and mudra. So yeah, I have a video on my YouTube channel. I'll send a link to you. And you can do it. But it's cool to do it together with other people as well. But that's
Oh,
just one thing that that I like to do. There's so many different meditations that are activation kind of things that will tune your frequency to that which what you are requesting from the universe. Whether it's more miracles in your life, more abundance in all of its forms, or I mean, you name it. So pretty
yeah,
cool, man. Yeah. So I've
yeah.
been pretty connected with the Kundalini yoga lineage for a few years. I learned in Bali back in 2016, and yeah, I've been pretty consistent with it. And I haven't been teaching here on the island, but I definitely want to get back into that as well.
Mm.
So yeah, you want to do her here with me real quick?
Sure. I mean, if they,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, let's do
All
it.
right. All right. Cool. So do you understand the process?
Oh, you can walk me through it again.
Okay. Cool. So let's tune in, and you can probably just listen if you don't want to chant the tune in. It's Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. It just literally means I bow to the divine teacher within myself and within the universe. So we can bring our hands to prayer position, close the eyes down, and just take a deep breath in and exhale. And I'll chant it 3 times, so you can join in if you feel comfortable. Inhale. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Inhale and exhale. All right. So yeah, we'll just do it for like a minute or so. Um,
Okay.
so it goes like this. Hard. It sounds like HUD, but it's hard. So
HUD,
yeah. So it goes like this. Had,
HUD,
had,
HUD,
had,
HUD,
had,
HUD,
had,
HUD,
had,
HUD,
had. All right, good.
HUD.
So close the eyes down and just kind of connect, and I'll explain why we do this at the end. But okay,
Okay.
ready? Had, had,
HUD,
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 had, had,
HUD,
had,
HUD,
had, had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had,
had.
had,
All right, inhale and exhale. All right. So that's the prosperity mantra right there. Simple. Har
Mm.
means seed, seed of God. So you're basically putting seeds of love and divinity inside your body. The reason you do the mudra is, gotta see if I can get this right. Um, this is comes from Yogi Bhajan, the guy who brought Kundalini Yoga over here. But these are the moon mounds. So he talks about the hands all being various meridians, touch points that connect to various planets and whatnot. And your thumb is the ego. Then we got like Mercury finger and like Jupiter, Venus, and these various fingers. But when we do this, this is the moon mounds and the Jupiter mounds. So they say when your moon and your Jupiter come together, there's no way you won't become wealthy. That's what he
Hmm.
said. So when you kind of do that, it creates this vortex, and I think of it like giving and receiving. So it's kind of
Mm.
like you're giving and receiving, kind of all in one.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a little meditation for you.
There we go.
Add to your gratitude process in the morning, maybe.
Yeah.
Cool. So originally, I started this podcast because I realized that men, including myself, need a lot of help. Need some love, need some
Yes, we do.
direction, need some inspiration. So I figure that mantras is a good way of kind of getting in there and helping others, teaching others to help themselves, and these types of things. They may seem silly at first, but really they are kind of prescriptions for certain things. Abundance being meaning one, and just by doing it, you're feeling the effects of it, and kind of a detachment from any kind of outcome. But you'll notice, maybe if you look at your bank account, you'll probably notice like a few more zeros in there, at the end there. So, it can happen. So, keep consistent with it, and let me know how it works out. It's pretty cool. But I wanted to ask you, you've been doing men's group, you've been working with men over the years. What do you feel like are some of the, um, I don't want to say issues, but what are some of the challenges that you feel like men are going through these days?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. There's definitely some modern day challenges as a man. You know, it's, and I want to clarify. So when we talk about men, there's the gender, like the equipment you have, like you're a male, and then there's like feminine and masculine behavior, which we all have some mix of it. You know what I mean? It's like music, right? There's treble and there's bass. I mean, it's a perfect analogy, right? So the bass is masculine, treble is feminine.
Hmm.
I think men have, for the most part, given into their masculine side for hundreds of centuries. It's easier to be angry and smash something, right? It just is, and take something. It's easier. It just is, man. It's easier to do that than meditate for 10 minutes and do hard to your hands like that. It may not sound that way, but I think for a lot of men, it has been. There's a challenge currently, with some of the movements that have opened up the eyes of, hey, look, there's behavior men have done that's not okay. And if you're a good man just not doing anything, you're no longer a good man, right? You're watching, you're there, you're so there's a new paradigm for men, and also the new, like, look, women are empowered. Okay, well, that means that men are disempowered. Now, I know some people don't agree with that, but hey, man, you can't put, you take a bowl, you put oil in, you put water in, the bowl can only take so much, right? Something's got to pour out. And I think a lot of men are, maybe you relate, are challenged with how to be masculine in a way that's fulfilled for themselves and for females around them, so they can empower the females without feeling like they're having to squash themselves. And I'll just say quickly that I think the key word in that is called inclusive, right? The other way, I think the way that I've seen it happen is, all right, I'm a man A, I got women in my workforce, now I have to give up stuff. No, that's one way you can think about it. Maybe you have to give up being an asshole, which is appropriate. You should give that up most times anyway. No, it's more of including them in their growth and their support and their greatness like you would anybody. That's really the difference. But I think a lot of men are feeling constrained, right? You can't fart, you can't say fuck, you can't say dick, you can't say other words. There's a lot of words now that are like, hey man, you can't say that shit in public. Then I'm not even talking race, right? We'll just leave that off the table. That's not even part of it. We're just talking, pussy, dick, this kind of shit. Where, if you're in a workplace, they're going to be like, no, that's not okay. So now a guy says, well, I can't be me. Was that really the best you anyway? Because that's the question.
Definitely not.
Probably not, right? I say that, probably not. So I think that's the biggest challenge currently. What do you think on that?
I think you brought up a lot of good points. Language is a tool. Most of the time it's misused. I feel it's
Mm,
not used for its highest, you know, uh, I guess, purpose in the world. That's another reason why I feel mantras are so important, because that is a higher purpose for using your
mm,
sound current.
mhm,
This
mhm,
God
mhm,
given, ability to express yourself. Uh, so I feel like it's a learning thing. I feel like if if you don't have the right mentorship, or if you've learned through um, hard rock music with the screaming obscenities, or you've had poor mentors in your life, you just haven't learned. Haven't learned how to treat others, haven't learned how to treat ladies with respect, and yeah, I feel like it's a learned behavior. So, I'd say that the idea of men saying like, "Oh, I wasn't taught that," I feel like that excuse is kind of it's kind of old. It's kind of a tired excuse now, because the ignorance is, you kind of have to be like, okay, come on, you know better at this point in the world. Like we've come to a point where you got to start taking responsibility for yourself, and using your words and following up with actions that are in line with those words is how it's kind of the measure of a man. I feel like we
mhm.
learned through the Psi program and others, like the importance of your word and the integrity that backs up your word through the action. So,
Yeah.
for men to be aligned with thoughts, words, and actions, that I feel like is a true measure, and you'll be judged by that, and that's okay. Because if you're in authenticity with those three things, then you can bring yourself fully to this world. But if you're inauthentic with any of those, it's going to shine through. Like let's say you have, poor thoughts about others. Your words usually going to reflect that, unless you're a really, really good actor. You know, so I mean, people pick up on that. And it's like you can't really fake things anymore. I feel like the the clouds are parting, and we as men and as humans, we kind of have to bring our best selves to in an everyday kind of thing.
Mm,
because it kind of, if you don't, an erosion. You erode your own mentality and your own you know um, place in the world, I would say. So I think you bring up some good points. Yeah, words are ultimately very, very important. How you treat others is really how you treat yourself. So if you're talking to others that way, then you're probably talking to yourself that way too. So it's best to be more aligned. And yeah, it's kind of like, I think some of the challenges are finding inroads into the self.
mm,
Into like working on the self.
mm,
If we're constantly peering outwards and kind of reflecting what we see, monkey do, then we're not really kind of coming from a place that's us. You know,
mm,
finding what it is to be me. And I'm still discovering that. I'm
mm,
36. I'm still discovering what it means to be me and not just reactionary
mm,
to what is coming at me, or my coming from the shadow side or the ego self. Like, what does it mean to be in the higher perspectives and the higher self, so to speak? So yeah, it's kind of you know without being so esoteric about it, like on a day-to-day basis, I feel like following up the words with actions that are positive. Really, I mean, that's a good measure of what you're doing in the world. Is like, do you have a positive life? Like, so and these this mantra, for instance, the Har, it's like the seeds, right? So you're seeding your consciousness, and then the garden is your life. So you're able
mm,
to see the seeds sprouting here
mm.
and there, and the words, so important. So that's how I feel about
Yeah, yeah, there it is, man. Well, that's the modern day male struggle. It really is how to find your place in the new world where you're including other people, right? I mean, that's really what it is. It's a new conversation of like, are you a leader as a man, or are you just a bully as a man?
that.
And they've distinguished those two now. So I think, like you said earlier, there's no excuse for like, I don't know what that is.
Yes.
I mean, I get if your parents are that way, you're going to be that way, but you're in the public. If you're looking at social media at all, if you're reading any kind of anything, dude, the conversation's right there to find. You
Mm-hmm.
can see and read how it can be expected to be a better participant and encourage other people to succeed, right? I mean, this is key to, I think, any man, especially if I think what personally, when as a man I can lead by example and inspire others to do things that lead them to higher experiences of their life, then my manhood is fulfilled at a good level, right? I mean, a lot of us watch it. We watch movies with the star who like rescues, takes charge, has plans of action, takes action, right? These are basic fundamentals that you still have to do. Now you just have to shift the context a little bit, right? You're not just bowling down people anymore. Now you actually need to communicate with people and get them on your side, right? That's the goal now. If you're really a man, man, you're a persuader. That's what I look, man. Really, I'm like, if you're a real ultimate leader man and your spirit is good, you are going to inspire and influence people to take action in life that tends to be more positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. Being inclusive is really what I'm hearing from you, and that is true leadership, I would say. Having people feel like they're participating, having their voices be heard, and ultimately, what do you feel kind of makes a good leader? Besides what we're talking about, like I'm talking more about maybe some physical attributes, not necessarily like good looks or anything, but how you carry yourself, body language type thing. I know that you've
Mm.
studied um, this NLP and whatnot in the past. So, is there any tips and tricks coming from an authentic kind of way to lead in and to kind of carry yourself with influence?
Well, I think there's two things. I think one, take deeper breaths before you do or say whatever you're about to do. Now, I say that as a leader and as an actor, right? Because you got to pretend, you have to act like a leader. And leaders, man, it's always chest forward. It's always a higher head. It's not looking down at the ground. The second part is when you're looking at people, you also you don't want to look above people. You want to look at people because you are worthy to be at their level, and everybody's equal to you in terms of how you respect them. Equal respect. Obviously, not everybody's equal. If that was the case, man, we'd have a bunch of different cultures in the NBA that are not in the NBA, right? I mean, let's just face that. So, what I look at, those are the two things, man: shoulders and deep breaths. And what's amazing is a lot of people get kind of postury, but if you take a full deep breath and you sit in that deep breath and your body experiences it, your posture will naturally straighten up. It's hard to take a full, deep, confident breath and hold it and be like hunched over, right? If you are, you're not really doing much. And then the eyes, the eyes are like, you look around your room, you want to look around the room, right? You're not looking down. You're not looking above people because nobody wants to be some inferior. Nobody wants to be that. So those are the things I would offer, just generally speaking. I would say that. And the third thing, this is more of a tip. If you're a man walking in a room, any room, and you don't know that room, you should stop walking when you first walk in the room. Most guys just barrel into a room, blah, 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 blah. They just go, blah, blah, blah. No, man. No, it's very important socially. People watch how you handle yourself when you go in a room. And a person who walks into a room and stops and assesses the room first, that's a leader. Why? All leaders gather information before making a conclusion. They just do. You gather information from the environment and you gather information from the people in the environment. Detail the problem in the environment. You take those three, add them together, then you can speak out as a leader because you've listened, which is something most leaders don't get. They get stuck in the talking because we've seen it, right? Oh, the guy is talking in front of the room. Yes, but that man prepared last night for 2.5 hours on the subject, who the people are, what the situation was, and he listens by learning all that. So when he came to this meeting or whatever, he had something thoughtful to say and add value to your life. That's what I've certainly learned, man, in leadership for sure.
Nice. Thank you for that. Those are
Yeah.
all very helpful tips for sure. It's I forget this kind of stuff, so it's good to have a refresher course. And I feel like I naturally do some of this, but if you're, I guess, more aware of it, it'll shine through and just naturally. What about the voice? I mean, I'm all about that at this point. So how does one carry the voice to be able to um, get the message across?
Yeah, there's the magic in the voice, my friend. So as an actor too, right? And a leader and all the development, all of it, like even all of that together really forms how you speak. And I will say this, man, if you're trying to get people to relax, you don't want to talk like this. This is not where you want to be. This is a bunch of guys. You're talking to people that you want to know. I am boomy. But if you want people on your side, you got to find a mid pitch. Mid pitch is a better place because it's in the middle. So people who are really high can relate, and people who are a little darker can relate. And I mean darker in their pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a middle ground to adjust for people. Really, it's true. And if you can do that, if you can give if you listen to like some of the great orators of time, they take their moments to be high in the pitch, man. Even if it's not a question that's written in whatever they're saying, sometimes being up there lighter gives people a chance to be lighter about the thought you're trying to persuade them about.
Interesting.
That's what I would
I
say.
like that. I like that. So, the subject matter is in the intonation of your voice. It can connect, and that will make it be delivered better is what you're saying.
I am saying exactly that.
Cool. I like
It,
that.
it
So if we're talking about something real serious, then we want to kind of go serious voice, right?
and a little slower,
A little bit more slower,
thoughtful, slow.
thoughtful.
If it's
Gotcha.
fun, it's playful. Think about like circus music. It's fun, it's light. Oh, hey guys, what's going on? Great to see everybody.
Yes.
I need to cover something. There's something that we have to cover,
Yes.
and it's pretty serious. Slower, tempo slower, right? It's like quarter beats. If you understand music, it's like you're speaking in quarter beats when it's serious, because you want people to get the weight of what you're saying and give them time to feel it. When you're kind of da 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 circus, happy birthday, da, 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 it's a you just want them to get it. It's a visceral thing. Hey man, we're moving along. This is very high, friendly. You don't need to hear it a half of what I say. You just get the energy is up,
Yes.
up, up, up,
Yeah.
friendly. It's light. Okay, great.
Got it. Okay. Cool. Um, so let's segue a little bit into the type of work that you're doing these days. So are you a business coach, a marketing coach
Oh
nowadays?
no, I'm doing. Oh wow, bro.
Where are you?
Wow, I thought you knew.
I'm a few years. I'm a few years back.
Murder for hire. I,
You are one charismatic assassin. That's probably how you get close to your victims.
it is. Keep it friendly. Keep it fancy. No, I'm doing actually it's yeah, marketing, still marketing coaching,
Okay,
marketing coaching for kind of SMB entrepreneurs, stuff like that.
got it.
Yeah. One of my
Great.
clients does Hawaiian jams and marmalades actually out of
Okay,
Kailua Kona. So it's kind of funny.
nice.
Yeah.
And so what sort of goals are do you have for yourself and your wife and your life these days? Do you write your goals down? How do you really cement the kind of that? I mean, I would say masculine goal oriented self.
Yeah.
How do you get those goals attained?
Well, I certainly believe in business plans. Even a 5-page outline of your idea and the plan, who the people are, where's the money, how much you charging, how are you going to get clients. Like man, I've been a consultant for 20 years, and I would say that I hate writing goals. I personally do, and that's a strong word, HATE.
Mm-hmm.
But I really have hated writing goals. But what if I don't get the goal? What if it's too little? What if it's too high? That's all garbage, right?
Mm.
But that's somebody taught me the other day. I was learning from someone, and they said, look, man, if you say you're gonna plant 10 plants, because I'm doing some home gardening, I want to start doing that, since COVID and lockdown, I just want to do more of that, herbs, stuff like that. I mean, if you say, hey, I'm going to plant 10 plants, I mean, you could say you're going to plant one plant, but if you say 10 and that's big to you, you probably only do 6 or 7, probably, right? Unless you're one of these, like, I got to finish everything.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people would be upset about that 6 or 7. No, my friends, because realistically, you really should be planting 1 to 3 plants, but you're going to double or triple that so that you push yourself. The key is not to get caught in the result, which is so counterintuitive and it takes years to finally get. It is the journey that matters. It's the 5th plant, the 6th plant, and the 7th plant that were way beyond what you were going to do with your other goal. So it does give you something in your mind, man. They've shown it, dude. People put goals in. Hey, I'm going to finish it in 30 days. You give yourself 30 days, you'll finish it in 30. You give yourself 5 days, you'll finish it in 5. Generally speaking, okay, I understand like building a skyscraper in 5 days is not really possible, right? That would take, but like they matter, man. They put your brain into what's important right now, right? It helps you organize what do you really want. So, man, I started doing that list of everything I will never do. Be president, be an astronaut. Now I could fly in space, but probably not be an astronaut. So that, um, And I say the reason I say I hate goal setting, man, a lot of my life has been one goal moves. In Boston, it was cold. I was a teenager. I was like struggling in life. I was like, great, I'm going to go somewhere that's warmer and struggle where it's warmer. So I moved to Los Angeles. And then I got into acting. It was just kind of one of those things. You're in the city. Why not put your name in a hat, right? Why not? And that was that. But I never did like, okay, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna book 10 films, because you have to be careful. This is important. It's you have to be careful of putting goals that you don't have control over. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Like being able to meet 10 directors to audition for 10 projects. Sure, you could do that. You get an agent, you put your stuff out, you keep knocking on doors, you could hit that goal. But to have and say that you're going to control who's going to hire you,
Mm,
that's kind of not in your control. Now that's a new thing for me, by the way. And a lot of men need control of their own lives.
mm,
But
mm.
don't get upset about stuff you can't control, dude. Dude, in the last year, my growth has definitely been, it's raining outside. I'm not going to get upset. We had a picnic and I can't control the rain. Like I can't get mad at me, or, oh, I picked the wrong day, or I should have known better, or, oh, God's mad at me. He's raining me out. No, man, why are you tripping? It's
Mm-hmm.
simply raining. Just let it rain and pick another alternate. And that's where I think your goal thing, I'm going to tie this together, is if your goal goes off track, well, then you need to figure a solution that's going to be an alternate. And I think that's key for success, my friend. Because,
So the
yeah,
ability to respond and to be flexible in the challenges that you can't control. Got it.
huge, life changing.
Well, that's true leadership as well, right? I mean,
Yeah,
because things don't always go the way you want them to go. Especially with
rarely.
yeah, rarely. Yeah, more so than ever. It's becoming more rare where it's like, oh yeah. I mean, they say the best laid plans of mice and men, it's just like things just burn up, when you think that you got a good way of, going about it. It's very logical and kind of relying too much on the intellect, I feel like, and not kind of leaving space for what is really meant to be. And the spontaneity and the really the juice of life, I would say, in most regards,
Mm,
is like that's those surprises. So yeah,
yeah.
I think yeah, not getting too butthurt about things, not going your way. Yeah,
Yeah, man. Exactly. Not going your way.
your way. Mm.
So there's a million ways things can go. And for you to get upset about something that you can't control, that's never going to go your way. Like it's such a, think about that. If you could take the mental energy and reserve it for the things that you can control, dude, life is so much better. It's so much
Mm.
more gratifying.
Definitely, I would definitely second that. I also
Yeah.
wanted to remind you. I'm not sure you remember this, but you were one of the first people I met in Denver. And first, I talked to you on the phone. Our mutual friend Kobe Clark introduced us, and I was interested in doing the Psi program. And she says, "Well, I'm gonna have my friend Briel reach out to you. Do you remember this?"
I do.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was about that conversation, but I feel like you gave me some gold that I hadn't even had a taste of, and which was, I did this program, which was the Psi seminar program, and it changed me. I didn't think it was going to. I had resistance, but something shifted in me, and I thought about that for a long time, and it's pretty simple decision after I talked to you about like, well, I want some changes. I want to change. Like, this idea that we're like one being, forever. This like it's just like this unchangeable atomness. It's just like it is ridiculous. But I feel like we should be seeking changes. Earl from the Course in Miracles always says all changes are helpful. Like so, if you want some changes in life, it's like it's important to do different things and new things that challenge you, that push your growth edge a little bit there, And what you'll find is this like spontaneous, like light at the end of the tunnel. It's there, if you do something differently. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think that's key, my friend. I really do. I think it's key. I think, man, I guess there's the times, man, I've done that. I open myself to something that I hadn't been open to before, or doing something, or trying something, or going somewhere. Man, those are the times that life is golden, man, golden.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was suicidal in Boston when I was 19, man. Life was bad. I had left jail. I was selling cars. It was horrible as a job. It was just bad. And so when I made that choice to move and take action in my own life and say, all right, I'm going to go to Los Angeles, dude, I didn't have like some scoped out plan. I was like, yo, man, I'm going to find a place that's less volatile as a culture, although LA is pretty volatile as well, just so we're comparing. They're different volatile, but it was warmer. And then the rest of it kind of, you have to keep taking action. I think that ties into what you said about goals. Goals give you the roadmap to what actions could be taken, right? I mean, if you're going to build a business, then you should probably learn about business. You should write about business. You should learn about marketing, right? If you're going to go change your body, then your actions should regard your health, right? It should be in somewhat alignment. But I think it's important for people who may see this to get, it doesn't have to be A, B, C. Sometimes, man, it's going to be A, D, Q.
Like adequate.
That's right. And you may have to go back after you get D and Q and fill
Mm.
in B and C and E and F and et cetera, right? You don't get it all in order, man. Life doesn't happen that way. We all expect it to, linear, like a movie. Where's
Yes.
the information? Where's the plot? Where's the info? Hey, man, life's not like that. And
It
sometimes
isn't.
you gotta go dig it up. So
Mm.
yeah,
Dig up that gold.
dig up that
Uh,
gold, baby.
so I've been doing some pretty heavy work within my men's group lately when it comes to shadow work. Are you familiar with
Oh,
shadow
I am.
work and kind of
Yep.
what that happens when you kind of knock on that door a little bit? Um, so, eh, man, I feel like when you actually take a look at the darkness in one's life, even though it's challenging. And I would always recommend there being a safe container around you of support when entering and knocking on the door of the devil, so to speak. And I don't mean the devil like some kind of,
Literally.
like
Right, right,
literally,
right.
but I do mean that there are some subconscious programmings, there are some past mistakes, there are some um, negative thoughts and feelings inside myself and others. I'm sure everyone has this little ego goblin inside on their shoulder.
That's
That's
that's that's good, bro. Hashtag ego goblin. That's good, bro. That's good.
so if I could, I would just like to share some of that because I'd like to be very open and honest on this podcast. It gives me a forum to be myself in my most authentic way. So the work that I've been doing, without giving away too much, is kind of having a conversation with this shadow, with this being, and kind of giving it a name, and also visualizing. So kind of, in a way, bringing it to the light and bringing it to life. And the way that I guess personified this shadow was like a gremlin from the movie The Gremlins. All the sequels kind of all wrapped into one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the way I was thinking about it, and during the men's group, it's a very safe container. We're calling in the protection we need. We're giving ourselves a space to really go there. And what opened up for me was this conversation with this shadow being, this gremlin who I named that prick.
Of
And
course.
really, it's kind of the way it shows up is kind of this feelings of inadequacy, or feeling like not enough, and kind of picking myself apart,
Mm,
and especially when I'm feeling criticized, or feeling like I'm challenged, and what came from this, it was this massive lightening when it comes to kind of integrating with this goblin, this gremlin, and and giving it a voice as well. So kind of having a conversation, and when I personified it and had a conversation with it, it was basically telling me that it's here to challenge me, as if I need more challenges in my life. But really, this, I feel like the masculine does thrive on challenges, first of all, and secondly, it was like, I'm not going anywhere. It's like so persistent, and in some ways, actually, the way the gremlins do actually replicate. When you pour more water on them, right? They replicate and spawn everywhere. So uh, I don't know if maybe you could, if you feel comfortable, or, if it's in your green, yellow, or red zone here, to kind of maybe, if we could, go into a little bit of maybe your shadow and how you have overcome it or integrated with it, or
Ooh.
whether it is, a constant struggle, for the men listening or the women listening who have dealt with this with themselves or their partners. I feel like everyone's got something, that it
Yeah.
kind of is, like it's there, so not necessarily just like putting all this energy into it, but just kind of letting it speak. What is it here to tell you or share with you?
I think what you said is articulate, actually. The, the self-judgment on our ego gremlin, which everybody has, right? We all do have it, man. We just do. I think what happens is distinguishing that, your ego gremlin can speak up, and it's important to kind of listen to it, but it's also important to listen to your future gremlin, right? Your future gremlin that's like, hey man, take a moment. Is that appropriate now? Should you speak out right now? Does it support those people? That's always the key with the gremlin, by the way. That the ego gremlin is, uh, you have to flip it to, is that going to affect those people, and how is it going to affect them? It's true, man, right? Because there's a lot of situations any guy could just get up and be like, fuck you all, fuck off, you can go fuck yourself. Okay, gremlin turd, great, everybody's not excited about you being here now, and you didn't communicate to anybody. You just kind of shat on everybody's ears, so nobody's going to listen. Right? It's true. So you can listen to it. It's an option. I look at it as an option. The ego gremlin is an option. It's just an option. Hey, dickhead, I want to handle it this way. Okay, got it. Here's my new thing, by the way. What are 3 other ways, including the one gremlin gets one, he's the one. What are 2 other ways you could handle it? What's funny is I got that from improv. I was doing improv in Florida before we took off. I love improv, very
Me
quick in my
too.
mind.
Oh,
I
I
love
love it.
that, of course, love it. And we'd say something, and the coach from the side would be like, another way to say that, another way to say that. So there's specifically an exercise that you had 3 ways to say what you said. And you see other people kill it, 2 were shitty, 1 was funny. It didn't matter where it was. It could be, somewhere else. But I started taking that into my own life, like really looking. I was like, okay, is there a better way to say that? And what is another way? Not even better, not even the pressure of, okay, my ego gremlin is wrong, because you might be trying to save somebody's life and you may need to be an asshole in that moment and loud and, hey, don't do that. You got to take a stand. However, looking at, what's another way I could do that? What's another way I could say that to them? What's another way I could approach this problem? And I use 3. That's literally, I know it's so tiny at the end of this, but that has been key for me, because it gives me the freedom to just, okay, that's option 1. What's option 2? Okay, that's option 2. Okay, great. Think through option 3. Out of 3 options, your brain has definitely picked a few different ways to cover something. So in there, you'll at least see, oh, that's an awful way to do it. Definitely don't want the repercussions, how that's going to turn out. but that's not a bad way to do it. That's probably too much acid in the situation right now. Maybe ego gremlin needs to chill out. Not today. Okay, let's go a different way. And I got to be honest, man, my life, my wife, like everything has shifted over the last 6 months to a year because of that new, like, what are 3 ways you can do it? And I say that because if you're a man nowadays and you're in life, you have problems that you're trying to solve, whether it's at home or at work, doesn't matter. You're solving some problems. And I found, you know what? Let me come up with three options. And that generally would be like one would be really bad, one maybe was like super unrealistic. And then one of those, and I'm not saying the middle one, I'm just saying one of them. That's a good one. Let's go with that. And I
Mm.
found that to be a huge good way to deal with, and not the other, by the way. I want to be clear, not, oh, there's the devil and there's the angel, because those are extreme and they make your brain get polarized. No, no, no. Just come up with 3 options. They may be only inches away from each other, but maybe one of those is much softer, more effective, more inclusive, more expressive of who you are. Because when we're ego gremlining, we're not looking to be awesome.
Mm.
We're looking to be a fucking badass and shit on everything. Not
Yeah.
always the best solution.
Well,
Please.
well, yeah. I mean, I feel like, just personally, my ego gremlin is the the not enough Adam, or the inadequate Adam. As a man, the
Mm-mm.
idea of inadequacy. And thankfully, I have such a positive, reinforcing wife who will stop me in the middle of my ego gremlinness and say, "You're adequate." What makes you
Ooh.
think that you're not adequate? And I really had to think about it, because if I look at my life, I realize I am more than adequate, beyond adequate. So where did this come from? And it's like this little cobwebs, like little skeletons, or in the closet, that are just kind of there, but you don't even remember where they came from, or well, like what they're attached to, and that's really not too important. But it's just like, God, I just want to rip it out at the root, and kind of like you said, I need to give myself those options. That was really helpful for me, because I just that was the one option, which was ego gremlin, which was inadequate, which was, oh man, disempowering, really has how it feels. And then my life ends up being a disempowered, mess, when it could be, completely awesome. And so it's like, wow, we really are the creators of our entire reality, and how we feel about life. And we have the power. And it's like, yeah, choosing again. Like, Earl, Course in Miracles, always says, choose again. When you can, when you're aware, become aware first, and then make that choice again, because it's there. It's there for you.
Beautiful.
Woo! I feel like I just did some good work there.
This is good, man. This is good. Somebody could get some good value out of this talk.
I agree. I agree. Um, how's your wife?
Oh, she's good. Well, I'm like, it depends. There's so many levels, but she's good, man. She's doing her online coaching business. She's, helping people out. She's into spiritual guides and
Mm-hmm.
helping people meditate and be empowered.
She better watch
She's,
out. I'm gonna have her on the podcast in a few days.
that's up to you, man. We're partners. We're power partners.
I love that power couple. You guys always have been, and in a way, I go back to that conversation we had before you were married. But it was like, oh, I'm getting ready to be married to this person, and I found her. Like, I had been searching, and she was looking for me, and then we hooked up. We found each other, like, in the midst of this an insane, cosmic blanket. You found the sews, little stitches that hooked you guys together. And I that was really empowering for me, because, like, I think you're a point where it's like, you were so ready. You were so ready to be united with your partner, and I'm just so happy that you guys have come this far, and you stay connected to the work, and that you build each other up, and you know yeah, help each other through it. How do you feel like partnership, like, as a powerful man and a powerful relationship. Like, how do you balance the energies there? Is it just naturally happen?
Oh, it takes effort.
It takes effort.
I'm gonna say it right quick. It takes effort, man. Everybody thinks there's some fucking 50-50, and that is some bullshit. Now, if you're some like 80-20, because some person's dominant in the relationship, that'll work out fine. Somebody's a doormat or they're super submissive and somebody's super dominant, that's fine. But that's not really happening in the modern day. Modern day women are working, they got their money, they want their say, they want stuff to do. Matter of fact, when I used to do that coaching program, inviting Mr. Right, I was teaching modern women how to slow down on the personal side because they were dominating work, dominating life, but then they go try to dominate their dude, and it was like an alpha dog situation. You're like, whoa, I'm not trying to battle you. So, my wife and I are constantly having to recalibrate. That's the word I use, right? Is you have to recalibrate and you got to check. Is it her turn to be in charge? Is it your turn to be in charge? Right? That's what I look at. And I mean, I'm a big proponent and study of masculine and feminine energy, right? I've studied it, I taught it, I did a TEDx speech on it in Denver, man. I mean, I am in on that talk. And you know what? It's constantly a moving target. That's why communication's key. Hey, do you got this? I got it. Okay, got it. Then you kind of find where you fit in, but you got to figure out who's in charge and who's in charge of what real quick, man. And once you do, oh man, it's just beautiful. It really is, because you got powerful people. I mean, think about it, man. It's like it's like the military, man. You can't just have 20,000 generals.
That's funny. It's a funny visual. I love how you
Isn't
went
it?
there. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
the
man.
general. Well, I'm also a general.
Hey, man, somebody has to carry the latrine. Somebody's got to carry the ammo. Somebody's gotta. And one thing I've certainly learned, man, and this is key to partnership, a great leader knows when to follow.
Mm, I like that. And a
Yeah,
great
man.
teacher knows how to obey as well.
Yes, that's right.
Nice. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you're navigating that dynamic very well. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah. Yeah.
one in a million.
And we probably are close to it.
I feel like this island. Maybe it's a good thing that you didn't settle here, because what I've found from most of the relationships, at least that I know, they're everyone around me is like breaking up and like very challenging. Like, people have been married. They're married, right? And they come here and
Yeah.
something pulls them apart. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but there's a lot of challenges within relationships here, and a lot of
Yeah.
empowered women, I would say, leading the charge in that world. And I feel there are some powerful men too, and it's kind of navigating how to put these two together where that the power is amplified versus the power over, and the power under gets more out there. So it's a
Mhm.
fine balance. So, geez, I'm happy to hear your reflections on that. So
Just
cool.
keeping it quick, man. We can go deeper later, but that's my first 10 cents.
Nice.
And I stand by it.
Oh, I like that. Good. Cool. Let's see. What else are you doing today?
What else am I doing today? Well, I had a fifth interview for a marketing opportunity that went well. I talked about culture and people, energy, and I'd say, man, in my lifetime, it's probably the most professionally prepared I've ever been for an actual interview. I look back at all the years of interviewing and meeting companies, and I'm like, wow, dude,
Mm,
you weren't even playing on the board. It's like playing chess, and I was using pawns the whole game, just
all
little
pawns.
pawns, all pawns. I was like moving my pawns, and people were like, "You gonna move your knight or your bishop or
Mm,
anything? Maybe your rook? Nothing."
mm,
And today was all pieces on the board and engaging the other side of the board to participate. I know it shouldn't be adversarial at an interview, so it made such a difference, man. It just did. It made such a difference. And
mm.
then I'm doing a little 3D thing. It's my birthday on May 30th, so this
Oh,
is my birthday month. Um,
nice.
so if this impacts somebody, that'd be the best birthday present ever, ever.
Well, I definitely encourage you to share this with your tribe, your
Oh yeah.
Facebook friends, and whatnot. I've really loved reconnecting with you,
Yeah,
Gabriel
man. Yes, sir.
DiCristofaro,
Yes, sir.
mentor to me over the years, and many others. You've been a coach, business coach. Any last words for our 10 subscribers?
Live life to the fullest because you don't know when tomorrow's coming that you don't get to see.
Mm. Simple and profound as always.
And I'll say this one last piece. Somebody said it this way. If you're somebody who underestimates the value of your life, or you're not inspired by your life, realize that you're 1 in 400 trillion to even exist on the planet Earth as a human.
Mm.
And you're telling me that your life isn't special?
Mm.
I think it is.
I've heard through various spiritual traditions that it takes 28 million lifetimes to become a human. So in other words, you've been 28 million other things before you were this thing, and so how special it is and unique opportunity to understand the self as the allness and the infinite nature of all things. So from one infinite being to the next, Gabriel, thank you so much. I know you're a busy man, and I appreciate you taking the time today.
Bro, it's such a pleasure to connect and explore the human existence. And thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to
Mm,
participate and see you again, my good man, Adam.
thank you so much. Namaste and enjoy the rest of your day and the next 90 days in Panama.
Thank you, sir.
Peace and
Good
love.
luck with you. Oh, lots of love. And I hope you do well with your rental car business. I hope you
Oh,
do lots
yeah,
of renting.
it's jamming. I don't know if I told you this, but I have another baby on the way. Did I tell you that?
You did. You did tell me
Okay,
that.
cool. There we go. There's one
Well,
brewing in the oven, coming down the pipe.
I hope it's healthy and happy, brother.
Thank you, sir. Have a
All right,
great
man.
day, Gabe.
You
Peace
too,
and
man.
love.
Peace and love, bro.